Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Okay, once again we see this nice little background. So the video I'm doing today, I actually haven't done one of these in a very long time. I am doing a book recommendation. We're doing a romance theme, so I have 4 romance books we're going to recommend, and it's just going to be a good time. If you've been following a couple of my book hauls, you've noticed that I have attained more and more romance books and will continue to do so, because once you start reading romance, you kind of can't stop. So we have 4 books. We are going to start with it and hope y'all enjoy. First up, we have Twisted Love by Huang. I've actually read the entire series. This is the second one, Twisted Games, the third one, Twisted Hate, and then the last one, Twisted Lies. Twisted Games is by far my favorite. I talked about it on my channel before. I raved about it. When I recommend one book in the series, I'm typically recommending the entire series, and with this one, I am recommending the entire series. I'm just saying Twisted Games is my favorite. But you kind of can't have the series without the first book. So, Twisted Love. You are the light to my dark, sunshine. Without you, I'm lost. Alex Volkov is a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. Driven by a tragedy that has haunted him for most of his life, ruthless pursuits for success and vengeance leave little room for matters of the heart. But when he's forced to look after his best friend's sister, he starts to feel something in his chest. A crack, a melt, a fire that could end his world as he knew it. Ava Chen is a free spirit trapped by nightmares of a childhood she can't remember. But despite her heartbroken past, she's never stopped seeing the beauty in the world, including the heart beneath the icy exterior of a man she shouldn't want. Her brother's best friend, her neighbor, her savior, and her downfall. Theirs is a love that was never supposed to happen, but when it does, it unleashes secrets that could destroy them both and everything they hold dear. I feel like out of all of the Twisted books, this one might have been the most traumatic. There is so much that happens in Ava's past as well as Alex's past, and it kind of puts them in this intertwined path that they don't even know. Well, for some they don't know. And Ava has like these nightmares of her childhood. Some of them she's trying to like piece together. She's been told certain things, so that haunts her. And then Alex has his own tragedy he's dealing with, as well as ulterior motive in certain senses that you don't find out until the end. So they kind of get pushed together, because if I remember correctly, it was a party Ava was going to, and at this time her brother Josh wasn't around, so Josh told Alex, like, look after her, take care of her. And so Alex ended up, I believe, picking her up from the party or whatever and taking care of her. And then like as time goes on, it's more and more they're seeing each other, they're doing things, and it's kind of like a love-hate relationship at first, because Alex is kind of grumpy, cold-hearted, whereas Ava, she is bubbly. And again, she's always kind of like Alex, but it's never been possible because that's her brother's best friend. We're not supposed to cross that line. But yeah, it was a lot happening. This has 341 pages. This is adult romance, and obsessed with the series. Twisted Games, again, is my favorite. Go read them all. And then I actually have the book 1 in another one of Anna's series, and then she has a series she wrote before Twisted, the Twisted series, that doesn't get enough hype, and I've heard really good things about it, so I plan to read that one as well. So again, love everything she writes. Go read this, read the series, enjoy. And it's an interconnected series. You do have to read them in order. They all focus a different couple. So the girls in this series are all friends, and then some of the guys know each other, but they're not really all besties. but again, interconnected. Moving on, we have Hooked by Emily McIntire. Freaking love it. So if you can't tell by the cover, it is Hooked from Neverland. So this is part of the Never After series. They're all dark romances, and it's all the villain gets the girl, and they're all some type of quote unquote Disney. It's not really retelling, because she states that at the beginning of the book it's not a retelling, but it is some of those characters that we may know. So this first one focuses on Hook, Peter Pan, Wendy, Tinkerbell. They're all in that jazz, but Hook and Wendy are our main characters, and it's a bit of like a forbidden thing because Hook has a rivalry with Peter. Peter is Wendy's dad in this book. So that's kind of how it goes. He wants revenge, but he wants her more. James has always had one agenda: destroy his enemy, Peter Michaels. When Peter's 20-year-old daughter, Wendy, shows up in James' bar, he sees his way in, seduce the girl, and use her for his revenge. It's the perfect plan until things in James' organization begin to crumble. Suddenly, he has to find the traitor in his midst, and his plan for revenge gets murkier as James starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. Wendy has been cloistered most of her life, and by her cold, wealthy father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turns into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark and brooding James. As much as she knows James is dangerous, Wendy can't seem to take her desire for him. But as their relationship grows more heated and she learns more about the world he moves in, she finds herself unsure if she's falling for the man she's known as James or the monster known as Hook. So his real name is James, but he goes by Hook on the streets. Okay, and then this is book 2, Scarred, and book 3, Wretched. Book 4 came out, it's Twisted. I need to read it. And then book 5 is going to be Cursed. And I don't know if any more are going to be released after, but that's what we have so far. Scarred is The Lion King. Wretched is, why am I blanking? I think this one has something to do with Wonderland. There we have it, Wonderland. And then Twisted is Jasmine and Jafar and Aladdin. And then Cursed is supposed to be The Hunchback of Notre Dame. All right. So as said, Hook basically is trying to get back at Peter for some shady things that went on between them. And the one way he knows how to do that is to get to Wendy. So now he's trying to weasel his way in through Wendy, but kind of as they start spending time together and things grow between them, he's trying to figure out if he has feelings for her, if he wants to spare her, or if he's still on his path to revenge against Peter. And there's a lot of shady things going on, like you're meeting Tinkerbell as a character, Smee is in the book as a character. And the way Emily works everyone in together is so amazing. Like, I would say she set the bar high with Hooked, and literally it got me hooked on the series. Like, I've read the first 3, book 4 is going to be read soon, and then I do plan to read book 5. And Emily also has other series as well that I would like to read. She, as far as I know, she writes mostly dark romance. But what she does is she puts the trigger warnings. It's an author's note with trigger warnings, and also like establishing again that it is a dark romance, just so people know what they're getting into beforehand, so they're not like surprised or anything. And she also puts playlists in the book, which I love. I love a good playlist. So yeah, this was one of my favorites in the series, along with Scarred. This was one of my favorites in the series along with Scarred. Go read this. Again, it is a dark romance, not everyone's cup of tea, but there we have it. All right, moving on to my girl Tessa Bailey. Love her or lose her. This was one of my most recent buys. Now, this was my 4th book read by Tessa, and once I finished it, it was my 2nd favorite. It happened one summer. It still holds the top rank for me, but this one was a very close second. Really enjoyed this one. It's part of a series. It's book 2, but I didn't know that at the time. I do plan to read book 1 and 3. I don't think it really messed things up for me to read them out of order, but from now on I will read them in order, but just to establish this is book 2 in a series. Rosie and Dominic Vega are the perfect couple, high school sweethearts, best friends, madly in love. Well, they used to be anyway. Now Rosie's lucky to get a caveman grunt from her ex-soldier every time she walks in the door. Dom is faithful and a great provider, but the man she fell in love with 10 years ago is nowhere to be found. When Rosie's girlfriends encourage her to demand more out of life and pursue her dream of opening a restaurant, she decides to demand more out of love too. 3 words: marriage boot camp. Never in a million years did Rosie believe her stoic, too manly to emote husband would actually agree to a relationship rehab with a weed-smoking hippie. Dom talking about feelings, sitting on pillows, communicating with nature, learning love languages? Nope. But to Rosie's surprise, he's all in, and it forces her to admit her own role in the cracked foundation. As the two compete in one ridiculous yet surprisingly helpful assignment, one after another, their remodeled relationship gets stronger than ever. Except, just as they're getting back on track, Rosie discovers Dom has a secret and it could demolish everything. Honestly, that secret that Dom held, mind blown. It was good stuff. So, as you heard, they've been together since high school. Everyone just knew they were going to be the it couple. They were going to be the one to last. And as time goes on, Rosie notices a shift in their relationship and she's not really comfortable with it. So one day after work, she finally tells herself that today is a day I'm going to tell him, like, I'm done, I'm leaving, I can't do this anymore. And she does. She builds up the courage to do so, but then Dom tries to seduce her and make her kind of forget, and that kind of leads things to go tumbling. Rosie remembers why she said what she said, so she leaves Dom standing like in the garage yelling her name, and as she's driving away, she's kind of contemplating, like, did I do the right thing? And it leaves Dom questioning his actions and what he's done. So as they're kind of living, Rosie's staying with a friend, Dom's at home, they're living separate, and Rosie's friends bring up marriage counseling. So as Dom is trying to win her back, she throws out the idea of, like, the one thing you can do is marriage counseling. And surprisingly, he does say, yes, let's do it. So they go on this entire journey with marriage counseling, doing different assignments to kind of learn each other again. And there are some hiccups and some things in the road, and Dom's big secret that kind of put Rosie and Dom to the test on if their love will prevail. So that's kind of it for this book. It is really good. I'm trying not to say too much and give it away, but I really enjoyed this book by Tessa. I would say this is a very good book to read, a really cute romance, and it was quick. It only had 335 pages, and it gives you a sneak peek of book 3, so go read it. Moving on to the last book, Queen Charlotte by Quinn and Shonda Rhimes. Y'all, devoured the series. Knew I was gonna love the book. I did. I think I love the book more than the series. The book obviously focuses more on Charlotte and George, whereas the series did, but it also showcased Lady Danbury, went to Violet, a little bit all of that. So it was nice to just get George and Charlotte. All right. In 1761, on a sunny day in September, a king and queen met for the very first time. They were married within hours. Born a German princess, Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz was beautiful, headstrong, and fiercely intelligent, not precisely the attributes the British court had been seeking and espoused for the young King George III, but her fire and independence were exactly what she needed, because George had secrets with the potential to shake the very foundations of the monarchy. Thrust into her new role as a royal, Charlotte must learn to navigate the intricate politics of the court, all while guarding her heart because she is falling in love with the king, even as he pushes her away. Above all, she must learn to rule and understand that she has been given the power to remake society. She must fight for herself, for her husband, and for all her new subjects who look to her for guidance and grace. For she will never be just Charlotte again. She must instead fulfill her destiny as queen. Love, love, love Queen Charlotte. Again, love the book so much more. I will say it was really cute to read the trending scene on TikTok where it's like, George, do you love me? I love you. That entire scene, it was phenomenal to read. Like, seeing it was great, but reading it was even better. But again, if you're not familiar, Julia Quinn wrote the Bridgerton series, and then Shonda Rhimes excuse me, brought it to life. And so Queen Charlotte wasn't really done before, so the both of them teamed up together to write Queen Charlotte, as well as it was produced on Netflix as a series. So it did come out as a series first, and then the book dropped. So I watched the series first and then read the book, but absolutely loved it. And it is smaller than the actual series. For those thinking of reading it afterwards, it's only smaller because it's focusing just on George and Charlotte and basically telling their story on how they met, the trials they had to face. It does talk again about Lady Danbury in the bits on how she was introduced and how her and Charlotte met, how they became kind of close, her role in this relationship, as well as Brimsley, because if you know, Brimsley is basically Charlotte's right-hand man and he follows her around everywhere. So Brimsley does have his play point in the book as well, and we get to hear some of Brimsley's story because Brimsley and Lady Danbury do play a role in George and Charlotte's relationship as well. And I mean, there's really not much to say because, I mean, if you've seen the series, then you know what's going to happen in the book, but I just think it was beautifully written, and there are certain scenes in the book that were not shown in the series, and that's really nice. So it's kind of like bonus content. If you've watched the series, you can read some parts that didn't make it in, and that's really nice. It also doesn't really focus too much on the present aspect, more so the past well, I guess depending on how you look at it. So if you watch the series, you'll know they kind of go back to the past when Queen Charlotte and George first met, and then they'll go to the present time when she's queen, kind of holding her reign by herself with her kids. They don't really focus on that as much in the book. It's more so just the time to when they met, how they became who they became. But I love it, and eventually I will read the rest of the Bridgerton series. So this has 329 pages. I will do a once more of all my books, but that was the last one. Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn and Shonda Rhimes. I got this from Baldwin & Co. Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey, also from Baldwin & Co. Hooked by Emily McIntire from Amazon. And then Twisted Love by Anna Huang, Amazon. I hope y'all enjoyed this video and y'all like these book recommendations. Go read some romance books. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.